And you could just imagine over the top of that. Instead, it's like, I said, "Who's that girl there? I wonder what went so wrong that she had to run the streets. She don't do magic credit cards. I think she does receipts." You could have that
It's all not
easily
quite
over the top.
legitimate.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Audiophiles. My name's John. His name is Andy.
It is.
Stud is a lamb with her thoughts, a tiger who moves like a cat and knows how to ride her. More on that later. But first, Andy, my friend, what delights have you got in store for us aujourd'hui?
I've got an up-and-coming band, so there's not going to be a lot of information on these guys. They haven't been around very long, but really interesting song by them that first time I heard it, I guess really not very long ago at this point, less than a year, stood out to me. So I wanted to see what your opinion was on this band, this track. So the band is named Saint Julien, and the song by them is called "I'm Not a Proud Man."
Wow. I'll have to work hard because in my mind there's only one St. Julian, and that is Mr. Cope. He even did an album by the same name.
Yes.
But no, I shall go off and have a listen and see what occurs.
Excellent. I look forward to hearing your response. Go off, give it a listen.
Oh, it's gonna be a tough season. Feel it burning on the inside. Maybe I just got the wrong freedom, or I just want a free ride. I don't know where I seen you before.
Okay. Somebody is a big fan of Alex Turner. It's almost, don't think the accent's there, but the way his voice is almost quite similar. And then there's sort of arpeggio lines with the narrator having some wry comment about either the situation or the dilemma of the protagonist. You may say Alex Turner, I would say David Gedge for Wedding Present. I don't know where he lifted it from, but or they invented it. But yeah, I can see how this would appeal to Andy straight away, being a massive bark for the Arctic Monkeys. Funny. Okay, let's see how it goes.
I know that I've shown you I'm fine, but everything I've ever done has always seemed to fall apart and die.
That bit there is Scandal like Turner, isn't it?
But everything I've ever done has always seemed to fall apart and die with you.
Yeah, it sounds good. Nice and bouncy and pacey. I will say this, he's really heavy on the odd cymbals there. It was starting to annoy me a bit. It was just a bit too more scratchy. He's dropped out, thank God.
Drunk and high, could I get some cash to get her home? I'll hit you back tomorrow night. Home to myself, leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man. I'm not a proud man. Back to back, together made. I gotta go, I gotta stay. I'm weaker than you, but I know where I lie. You're a different girl on every day. If you leave with me, I'll should be. I remember every look you gave. I saved them like a recipe. I'm up to myself, leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man. I'm not a proud man.
Hello.
Up to myself, leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man.
Interesting. Up until this point, it's been a fairly it's a decent song, catchy, bouncy, but nothing new, and it kind of sounds like Arctic Monkeys wannabe. To be fair, but I like this turn here instantly, just dropping out and bringing in the piano, and I think some string effects. I don't know if it's real strings or not, but just twisted this song and just made it go up a couple of rungs in my estimation. Really nice sound there. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to take it back. It's around about the 2:30 mark, I think.
Leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man. I'm not a proud
Yeah, it's got a much more sweeping sound.
Up to myself, leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man. 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 Special day, I got it made, same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified. Special grade, I got it made, same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified.
Nice guitar.
Special grade, I got it made, same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified. Special grade, I got it made, same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified.
Hmm. I think that even proved my point a little bit there because it was so nice that point with that lead guitar coming in. That for solo was much more expressive than the other one. That was kind of functional of what you expect from this sort of song. But that one there was really nice, and it just felt a bit more. And then back comes the heavy cymbal work, and it just sounded like someone was scrunching up that really sort of cellophane or tinfoil type paper. It just sounded abrasive to my ears. I didn't enjoy that at all. That aside, I thought first half of the song or first 2/3 of the song was decent. It was okay, nothing particularly outstanding or interesting, but just good song. And I really enjoyed the last third. And I guess the contrast between the two made it even more enjoyable to me. So yeah, this is interesting. I don't know who they are, who St. Julian. I know who St. Julian is. It's spelled wrong, but it's Julian Cope, obviously. But I don't know much about this band at all. So let's find out some more. Let's go back and chop it up with Andy.
All right, man. So you are back. What did you think of this track? I'm not a proud man.
Ah, Zootalaws, as they say, south of Dover. Hello, someone other than Andy and the other millions of people who bought their records. but someone is a big fan of Alex Turner. um, yeah, it starts the little the opening section with that technique that Alex Turner lifted, I think, from David Gedge, Wedding Present. Um, I don't know where he lifted it from. There's nothing's original in this world, but it's that sort of arpeggio guitar chord with a
Yeah.
sort of wry commentary about the situation or dilemma faced by the protagonist. Um, and you could just imagine over the top of that, instead, it's like, I said, who's that girl there? I wonder what went so wrong that she had to roam the streets. She don't do magic credit cards. I think she does receipts. You could have that
It's all not
easily at
quite
the top.
legitimate.
It's very, very similar. It's great. So then we progress into more strummed notes with the bass. But the scanning of the lines, even at this point, reminds me of Arctic Monkey's MO, where he says something about, but everything I've ever done has always seemed to fall apart and die with you. And it's just very Turner-esque. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're into the song proper, which is really so it bounces along quite nicely, but for the about first four lines and then later on as well, it's really heavy on the cymbals. So much so that it's quite almost like abrasive to me. Um, I just don't know why, but it really my ears picked it up straight away. But they were like banging and banging, and it just annoyed me. But the song itself bounces along nicely, as I said, and there's some nice dynamics. It goes a bit up and down. Um, but yeah, it's all very catchy and nice and very Arctic Monkeys, I have to say. There's a nice little strangulated guitar solo that starts just before the 2 minute mark, which has a nice tone to it, but doesn't do anything, major, but it's kind of what you expect would be there. Um, yeah, and then we return to the action. And as I say, in truth, the song is very well done, but it's like nothing that hasn't been done before and, nothing that stands out to me. However, and then around the 2:30 mark, the song takes a huge turn left into somewhere much more interesting boulevard. Um, we get these piano chords striking out, which completely change the tone of the song from from a very familiar trodden path, as it were, to I don't know. It just completely almost changed the sort of emotional intelligence of the song to me. We get some string effects. I don't know if they're real strings. I imagine it's probably string effects coming sauntering in as well as the singer repeats the title line. And just at that moment, just for me, everything sort of clicked, and that I'm not a proud man. It just took on more depth as well, and sort of landed with me the lines again and again. Really, really liked it. Really, really liked it. Um, yeah, and then just as we started to get going, in comes this much more expressive guitar solo that, we're talking, that to that,
Yeah.
the two solos. And it
You
almost,
you can see why they saved this one for the second solo.
yeah, definitely. And it fits. I mean, if you had that in the first one, it would just stand
Yeah.
out like a sore thumb. But this one flourishes and opens and really expresses itself. Yeah, and again, it takes the song a couple of rungs higher in my estimation immediately. Really nicely done, beautiful tone to it as well. And the whole thing starts to build and swell, and it just feels. I think that's in there more. I mean, but that's a silly way of putting it, but it does. It feels more. Back comes the excessive metalwork from the drummer. It does feel like someone wearing a suit of tinfoil or scrunching that cellophane stuff in your ear. That's the only niggle. Really pissed me off. But anyway, that aside, this last section of the song, it almost had a dreamy feel to it. Like you'd gone from the grim streets of Sheffield and slightly drizzling rain to somewhere a bit more sort of, technicolor, but also at the same time, sort of blurred around the edges. Um, yeah, really, really nice. And then it kind of ends with that one wistful guitar as well, which has a sort of different sort of resonance to it than at the beginning, following this passage. So yeah, it's a really interesting song. As I say, there's nothing wrong with the start. It seemed very familiar to me, without it being familiar, if you know what I mean, just stylistically. Not breaking new ground, but no, that's still being very competent and very nice to listen to. But then that's last third or whatever it is, really elevated. And I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah. I'm glad you liked it, man. That. It really. At first, I was like, yeah, this is a neat, catchy song, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I loved where this ended up and how he got there. It made me appreciate actually the beginning more because that's just a starting point when you think about it as a whole. By the time you get to the end, so yeah, really really good sound. Love the voice, love the guitar work, love the key work. I liked the drums. But yeah, all of it really checked a lot of boxes for me. So I've been monitoring this band and their releases. They've only got so much out there at this point. Like a lot of the new bands, we've talked about this ad nauseum now at this point. The more we talk about the new bands and this new way of releasing music, writing and
The
releasing.
VPs, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. they are. They definitely have this. They definitely only have a certain amount of content out there now. So I keep going back to see if there's more and more, and when they're going to release a full length. The moment they do, and they put out some more stuff, and I've already got one or two tracks in mind that are already released. I'll bring more of them to the channel, and hope that they just can continue their upward trajectory. So yeah, this is not a lot on the band. I had to transcribe all the lyrics. It was another one of those because they don't even have their lyrics out on a website yet for this track. So a really cool, really interesting sound. They are a Chicago-based five-piece that formed in the summer of 2019. God, think about trying to start a band and gigging around right before the world completely closes its door on you. So that's probably why, despite being around for 6 years, they don't have as much done because they started at a really precarious time in
Yeah.
in the world, in summer of 2019. But yeah, they consist of Tony Tuna Lattis on vocals and rhythm guitar, Trevor Van Vleck on vocals and keys, and I believe that's who we heard in this song was Mr. Van Vleck on the beautiful keys that he played. Lead guitarist Brad Gaiman, bassist Andy Erblick, and drummer Cam Burmaster. The five local musicians met and connected at various gigs in the Windy City, and they found a shared passion for energetic, melodic blues rock. They claim their sound is first and foremost inspired by the blues and rock roots of their hometown city. But the band has cited bands such as the Beatles, Oasis, and Cage the Elephant as bands from whom they've drawn inspiration, which is, I mean, the Beatles, might as well just say Beatles 2.0 and then Cage the Elephant. It was their inspiration. And obviously, you probably know this. I mean, plenty of people out there who are watching this are pretty big music fans, but Chicago is kind of a big hub for the blues, especially when
Yeah.
Great Migration happened and all the Southern blues ended up there in the middle of the country. So yeah, really, really cool to hear that Chicago's still busting out, like pumping out some really good bands and some good sounds.
So sorry, Andy.
Yeah,
I think. Oh, this is where I get it wrong, get loads of comments, but I believe like Chess Records was situated in Chicago, wasn't it?
yes,
Which is one of the
yeah,
big, blues
yep.
labels.
Absolutely. They quickly embedded themselves into Chicago's music scene, performing at iconic venues like Cubby Bear, Shuba's, and the Cobra Lounge. They continued to grow in popularity by playing live shows all over Chicago and the greater Midwest area. Even I see they've now got some shows down in Kentucky, so they're sort of, drawing a larger area for which to tour and spread their music, which is great. I love to see that. So yeah, the word of mouth spread like wildfire as they garnered a reputation for being an amazing live act, while also building their online presence on all streaming platforms, thus casting a wider net. I don't live anywhere near Chicago. That's how they came on my map. The production work is handled by the aforementioned Van Vleck, who sort of wears multiple hats in the band, does keys. He's, I think, at least 50% of the composer. I think he and Tuna share the role of as both singers, probably doing a lot of the composition work or whatever. They released 3 singles to this point, Crashing Down and the Smiling Faces Collection, both released in 2024, and Hole in My Pocket, which was released earlier this year. Both Crashing Down and Hole in My Pocket featured solely tracks of the same name on each release. However, the Smiling Faces Collection featured 3 tracks one of which was the song I had you listen to today, I'm Not a Proud Man. And that was my first introduction, was listening to those 3 songs by them. First it was this, and then of course because I liked it so much, I went and listened to the rest of it. Got a really cool sound, these guys do. So let's jump into these lyrics that you say Scan Turner-esque. Oh, it's gonna be a tough season. Feeling it burning on the inside. Maybe I just got the wrong freedom, or I just want a free ride. I don't know where I've seen you before. I know that I've shown you I'm fine, but everything I've ever done has always seemed to fall apart and die with you. Back to back, together made. I've got to go, I've got to stay. I'm weaker than you, but I know where I lie. You're a different girl on every day. If you leave with me, I'll never stray. I'm weaker than you, but I know where I lie. Excuse me, sir, I'm lost and drunk and high. Could I get some cash to get her home? I'll hit you back tomorrow night. All to myself, leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man. I'm not a proud man. Back to back, together made. I've got to go. I've got to stay. I'm weaker than you, but I know where I lie. You're a different girl on every day. If you leave with me, I'll never stray. I'm weaker than you, but I know where I lie. Where I lie. Lead guitar part. Excuse me, sir. Is there someplace I should be? I remember every look you gave. I saved them like a recipe. I'm all to myself, leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man. I'm not a proud man. Sort of this piano interlude portion that sounded fucking awesome. All to myself, leaving me drowning. I'm not a proud man. 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 Space to play, I've got it made. Same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified. Special grade, I got it made. Same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified. Awesomer guitar lead. Special grade, I got it made. Same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified. Special grade, I got it made. Same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified. Special grade, I got it made. Same as we were yesterday. Leave your friends and take a try. Let me leave you petrified. So yeah, there you have the lyrics. Some interesting stuff there. I really like some of these lyrics. As silly as it is, I love the idea of I saved them like a recipe. As one who will stumble across recipes on the internet and save them myself, I'd be like, oh, I've done that before. I can see that metaphor. But yeah, man, thank you so much for giving these guys a listen. I'm really glad that you like them. Sort of had a very similar initial reaction when I heard this song. And like I've said with other bands that only have a limited amount of content released to this point and are pretty new, I really hope to see their star ascend and continue on the same trajectory. They look like they've got a pretty good handle on things and are kind of spreading their wings. So hopefully we'll hear more from them in the future. At the very least, I'll bring another track or two of their already released stuff down the line that we can check out again to give you a clearer picture or just another perspective into their sound. But yeah, thanks so much for giving this a listen, John. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yep, my pleasure.
Excellent. Guys out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you think of this new band from Chicago, St. Julien, and in particular, this song, I'm Not a Proud Man. I'd be interested to hear what you all have to say out there. Also, if you have any suggestions of songs, artists that we should check out, also feel free to drop those in the comments field below. Also, like, share, and subscribe if you'd be so inclined. We really do appreciate that. And you guys are an integral part to getting us, the algorithm to catch us in the stream and put us out there on YouTube. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. See you later, guys.